It is time for another edition of Litter Media Live. It's the Tuesday edition with the icon, Mike Smith. I'm Dan Ramey, and Mr. Hand 2 still has yet to set up his camera over there. What's the matter with you? Slacking. He's just sitting back here with his feet up.
My feet aren't up right now.
Pretending.
not
That's
right
because
now.
you leaned up to a microphone.
His hair's dry today. That can't be an excuse.
Yeah. Go fix that camera. There we go. Got him on the ball.
So now
Mom?
we have to stay on camera until he gets back.
See, Mom, he can follow directions. And Aunt Ruth and Grandma Ruth.
Right.
Because they want to see their boy.
That's right. In fact, I've been getting cards and letters. Where's Aaron? I want to see him.
Yeah. When are you going to replace that hairless guy, Ramey, with the boy wonder?
But
who
I've
has
never
hair
heard
everywhere?
anything from his fiance wanting to see him, so I'm getting kind of concerned about that.
That's because she's looking forward to seeing him for the rest of their lives.
She doesn't want to overdo it up front, apparently.
She doesn't watch the show.
I've got
Just
time.
like your wives don't watch
Yeah,
the show.
No, my
you're
wife
right.
does on occasion.
Is that right?
Yeah, she wants to know, what'd you say about me today? That came back to burn me on the radio a few times.
Yeah, it had. Well,
Because I told Dan Ramey a story and he blabbed,
not like it happened to me one time when I recorded my wife snoring and then played that on my morning show
Not good.
up in Columbus.
Not
and
good.
Word got back to her quickly.
I bet it did. Yeah.
I can't remember how many days I spent in the doghouse for that. Hi, welcome to the program. Now that we've got Aaron back on camera, that's your cue. There you are.
Here he is. Isn't he cute?
Yeah,
Isn't he
he's
sweet?
covering up the logo. Where's the team aspect?
Now he's got.
There we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's cold.
I won't say anything.
The furnace just kicked on for you. Let's take a look at the forecast because Mike, he says it's cold outside.
It's colder.
It is brisk, yes.
Yeah, than it was yesterday. But we are expecting some sunny skies today, although cooler with a high of about 42. Another freeze warning in effect for some areas of southern Ohio tonight. We were under a warning last night. Currently, it's a freeze watch, but that could change. We're talking about a low of 27. I didn't see a lot of frost on the ground this morning.
I didn't either.
But we did have a freeze warning last night. Mostly cloudy for Wednesday with a high of 51, then rain in the forecast for Thursday and Friday.
And the warning and watch for a freeze is much like thunderstorms and tornadoes.
One's coming and the other one's a possibility.
Yeah. Watch is, there's a likelihood. Conditions are right for it. But a warning is, it's happening.
Although I have seen warnings on occasions where it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And that's because it's tough to predict.
yeah.
Sometimes these storms peter out before they get to you. There we go. All right, coming up in just a moment, a look at news, a look at sports, and this date in history. And we also have episode 2 of our special feature on the historic markers. What's the name of the program?
The markings of history.
The Markings of History. Details coming up. But first, let's tell you about Haynes Total Healthcare Center. You'll find them on One Health Drive. You'll also find them online at hayneshealth.com. In fact, when you click on this ad anywhere you see it, on our website, littermedia.com, it takes you right to their website where you can learn about their services, their doctors, and more. Haynes Total Healthcare Center. Each week, we'll announce the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Litter Media Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union. And in December, we'll announce the Player of the Year. Nominate any amateur athlete by visiting littermedia.com and click on Player of the Week. You'll also see the players we've named throughout the year. Make your nomination today for the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Litter Media Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union.
I was looking for a first job. I had been babysitting and decided it was something for a little more permanent. It pays very well. It's convenient. You can make your own schedule with the flexibility. That's something that I like. The people that I work with are great. I wouldn't ask for a better crew or management team to work for.
discover Ross County. From the breathtaking outdoor adventures to the historic sights of Chillicothe and family-friendly events and festivals. Explore more at visitchillicotheohio.com or download the free mobile app today.
The Bean Foundation wants to raise awareness about suicide prevention by sharing 988. Trained crisis counselors are available to talk 24/7, 365 days a year. 988. Save the number. Save a life. To learn more about the Bean Foundation, click on this ad on littermedia.com.
When you go to our website, all of our sponsors are available right there on our webpage. When you take a look through there, you click on any of those ads, it'll usually take you to either their website or their social media, so you can find out what's going on with our sponsors. So we ask that you support our sponsors because they support what we're doing. In the top of our news today, the historic markers around Southern Ohio, and Mike Smith and Kevin Coleman from Intrepid Historic Services. Is that the name of his business?
Intrepid Heritage
Services. Filled us in on the banking crisis of 1819.
It was actually part of a national crisis, but there was competition between state chartered banks and the national bank. I believe this was the first national bank. And so the state passed a law that's saying the national bank could be taxed at like $50,000, I think, a year, which is a huge amount of money in 1819. Well, some officers for the state came in and tried to take the money, or did take the money out of the bank. It was known as the crowbar law, because they would go into the bank and crowbar into the safe if they needed to. Wow. And actually they took, there are two reports, $100,000 or $120,000 from the bank that was here, which the state said the bank owed to the state. So, whole big hullabaloo. I'm not sure how it was resolved, but actually that repeated at another bank here a few decades later.
And of course, you can see these, both of them, episodes on our YouTube channel now. And you say, Mr. Hand, too, you try and have these out by 4 o'clock on Monday?
Yes. That's our scheduled time, 4 o'clock on Monday for the Markings of History.
And they are set as a premiere?
Yes.
Okay, so those of you that are new to YouTube, because you've watched us on Facebook for so long, there are some things on YouTube you can do to set a premiere. And so you get invitations to that premiere, and next thing you know, it's rolling out on its prescribed time. But once the premiere has started, you can't go back and see what you missed. You have to wait till it goes all the way through. Then you can go back and watch it from the beginning. So,
You think this series will surpass the 13-week? That used to be when TV shows got canceled. If they were no good after 13 weeks, they got canned.
I think it depends upon the quality. Because here we're building a library that people can go to and look at any time they want.
Quality meaning get a new host.
And if we hope not to face cuts like they're talking about the libraries, and we've got videos for you on our YouTube channel. Yeah. They're available for you at any time you can look at them.
Speaking of libraries, just wait till episode 5.
Hint.
Yes, there's more in production. Or have you got it done, you just haven't released it yet?
No. In production.
Because you're taking it at a
One
nice
day at a time.
slope, because I've got my feet up over here in the corner.
Yeah. Lost a great one up in Pickaway County last week. Asa Elsie, a name synonymous with business success and community service for over a half century. Asa passed away at his home back on April the 1st at age 83. There was a lot. I've known Asa for, 30, 40 years, but there were things that I learned in reading his obituary, which is our story at littermedia.com. He played college football at Bowling Green. He was a MAC place kicker of the year.
Is that right?
Just things like that I didn't know. He was Westfall's first ever high school football coach in 1963. He was only in teaching and coaching for a couple of years before he decided to to move over into the family business, where he eventually became the president and CEO and chairman of the board of Elsie Incorporated, which, by the way, celebrates their 75th anniversary this year. But funeral arrangements are already set. Visitation will be 10 to 1 tomorrow, Wednesday, for those of you that were watching this live, and that'll be at the Community United Methodist Church in Circleville, and then the funeral service gets underway at 1 o'clock.
I wonder, I'm sure he probably was a straight-on kicker.
Oh, I'm 1959 to 63, I'm sure.
Before these soccer players got involved,
there wasn't any
nobody
soccer.
knew how to kick it that way. So
Nothing like that.
hats off to Asa.
Yeah.
The Highland County Health Department has scheduled 6 dumpster days events throughout this year. Whether it's your garage, basement, attic, shed, or backyard, the host department will be hosting this, the Highland County Department, offering free dumpster days events. First week of the free service will be April 15th and 16th from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. And it'll be at the Highland County Health Department.
Assistance House of Ross County recently wrapped up a highly successful scrub drive, collecting donations of medical attire for nurses, aides, and medical assistants working in the community. Several large bins filled with scrubs, tops, bottoms, and all sizes came pouring in for the drive, according to organizers. And they said, hey, we were really glad to be able to help out. So tip of the cap to Assistance House of Ross County.
Circleville High School's Alumni Association Achievement Hall of Fame inducted 5 new members over the weekend, and 3 2025 graduates were awarded scholarships. New Hall of Fame inductees are Robert M. Johnson, the class of 1948, Betty Leist Wolford, class of 1958, Jane Wiggins Shaw, the class of 1968, Christine Nelson Williams, the class of 1974, and Adam Logan, class of 2000. Scholarship recipients are seniors Maddox Bigham. We all know her. She will attend Northern Kentucky University and study biology. Jack Sorrell, who will attend University of Rio Grande and study history. And Isaac Williams, who's attending Lake Superior State University to study geology. Congratulations to those who are now in the Hall of Fame and those scholarship recipients.
Our road report takes us to Jackson County. State Route 139 has a culvert replacement project between Burt Harold Road and Courtney McCoy Road. 139 will be closed during the duration of the project, and the detours are set up via State Route 32 to State Route 93 to West Maple Avenue, and they hope to get this done here in the next week or so.
There's a lot of times I'll listen to these road reports and I'll hear roads that I'd never heard of before, and I think to myself, I'd like to go out and see that road, maybe travel that road, but it's in the construction report, so yeah. You'd be able to see the road sign probably and travel on some of it, but not all the way through, thanks to the construction. All right, coming up in a moment to look at sports, but first, Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your trusted comfort advisor. If you have an issue with those conditions in your home and you would like to be comfortable in your home, reach out to Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. If you click on this ad anywhere at littermedia.com, it takes you right to their website, accuratehvac.com.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
Life. It can get on top of you quickly, can't it? But with 211, it only takes one step to get connected to the help you need. 211 is always available to help. So get in touch today.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
Introducing the Petland Litter Media Pet of the Week. We want to put your pet in the spotlight. Pets with paws to pets with fins. If they gallop, crawl, or slither, play fetch, or simply curl up and snuggle. Send us a photo of your pet and we'll announce a new pet each week. And one pet will be crowned Pet of the Year. To nominate your pet, visit littermedia.com. Click on Pet of the Week. Tell us about your pet and be sure to include a photo. Watch Litter Media Live each Thursday for the announcement of the Petland Litter Media Pet of the Week. No purchase necessary. Contest applications must be from Ohio residents and at least 18 years old. If you're in need of cleaning out your house, maybe a rental property you have, and you decide, we need a dumpster for this, get a hold of Scioto Valley Dumpsters, 740-253-8389, and they can help bring a dumpster to you. In fact, I saw a post on their Facebook page yesterday. We've got them to deliver. We got them now. 740-253-8389 for Scioto Valley Dumpsters. Time for sports, and we start with the men's national championship in the NCAA basketball tournament. Finally came to a close. Florida rallying from being down 12 points in the second half. I last checked in on a halftime, and they were down by 3, I think. 65-63 win over the Houston Cougars. Is that right? Gators winning their third national championship. Congratulations.
And the first since they beat Ohio State in 2007.
Wow. I remember the days when Ohio State used to be in the Final Four.
Yeah. Houston's been into 7 Final Fours. They've never won the big one.
And they seemed so close last night.
Yeah. Congratulations to Unioto's Tony Taylor. Tony picked up career win 400 in the Sherman's SVC opening 3-0 win over the Pink Valley Bearcats last night. And I just got an email that says they're going to have a plaque presentation for Tony before tomorrow night's game at home. So games have been starting around 5:15, so somewhere between 5 and 5:15 at Unioto tomorrow night. They'll be giving Tony a little memento of his success. Other games on tap last night in baseball. SVC Westfall beat Huntington. Piketon over Southeastern. The St. Trace Adena game for baseball was postponed until tonight. FAC Miami Trace, the defending champs, showing why they're going to be tough to beat this year, 11-zip. Chillicothe and Washington were tied 1-1 late, and the Blue Lions scored twice in the top of the 7th to win that one. In the Mid-State League, Circleville beats county rival Logan Elm 8-2. Liberty Union over Hamilton Township. On the other side of the coin there, SOC, Sims Valley over Western. Portsmouth Clay beat New Boston. OCC, Lancaster thumped Tays Valley 9-0. You might remember the Golden Gales had a long tournament run in both baseball and softball last year, and don't be shocked if that happens again this year. On the softball side, SVC action, St. Trace edged Adena at 2-1. Piketon over Southeastern. Westfall beat Huntington, and Unioto edged Paint Valley. Chillicothe Lady Cavs still unbeaten, 25-3 over Washington. In softball MSL Buckeye, Logan Elm, remember they were in the Final Four last year, had a tough time with Circleville, but they did win 3-2. Defending state champ Liberty Union walloped Hamilton Township. Amanda Clear Creek over Fairfield Union, and over in the SOC, Sims Valley and Portsmouth Clay. Fairfield was a winner in the Shack, and Lancaster, they played Pickerington Central and got a big win last night. Tennis, Athens edged Chillicothe 3-2. Waverly over West, and Portsmouth Clay beat Portsmouth.
On to the major leagues. If you stayed up with the Reds last night, you know what happened, and there's
Mr. Dunn.
Yes, Dunn, a little overdone on that pose right there. A 2-0 victory for the Reds. Hunter Green threw 8 2/3 innings of shutout baseball. Couldn't quite get that last out. They had to bring Tony Santiana in to finish out the game. But a 2-1 win, snapping San Francisco's 7-game winning streak. And Nick Lodolo goes for the Reds tonight against, I can't remember the pitcher for San Francisco, but it's another late night start, 9:45 this evening. And after an off day for the Guardians, they are back in Cleveland for their home opener. They'll take on the White Sox this afternoon at 4:10. Ben Lively. Did he pitch for the Reds at one point in time?
I believe he did.
He gets the start today. He's 0-1 as they head into today's game. And that's sports. Coming up, this station history. What year are we focusing on today?
We're sticking with sports. 1974.
Details next.
92 years of serving propane users in southern and central Ohio. Reliable supply, reliable service, reliable people. Litter Quality Propane.
It's time to get serious about your lawn. It's time to step up to the best mower brand money can buy. For nearly 4 decades, Skag has been the easy choice for lawn care professionals. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best when it comes to mowing your lawn. There's sure to be a Skag model that's perfect for your yard, big or small. Make your lawn the envy of the neighborhood. Visit your local Skag dealer today. Skag, simply the best.
Wherever you are, you're there for a reason. You shouldn't have to make a trip to the branch just to deposit a check. Skip the trip and use our mobile app to easily and securely deposit checks from your phone. Day or night, wherever you are, or whatever you're doing, download the Kingston National Bank Mobility app today.
As a basketball coach and a dad, I need to be able to keep up.
Mark came to the Adina Orthopedic and Spine Institute in severe arm pain from a degenerative disc.
I was so confident in Dr. Fleming, he explained everything.
Together, they decided on minimally invasive spinal surgery to relieve Mark's pain and get him back to what matters most. At Adina, we do what we love, so you can too.
The grass has been growing. And if you've not been mowing, maybe you need a new mower. And Hometown Motors Incorporated, 818 Eastern Avenue, this is the time to get there because their spring sales event continues. While supplies last, riding tractors starting at $1699.99. New zero-turn mowers starting at $3399.99. $399 on the new walk-behinds, and new chainsaw starting at $279.99, new blowers starting at $199.99, and new trimmers starting at $229.99. Hurry in while supplies last. These prices, they're not going to last long. Hometown Motors, your store for the outdoors.
Sorry, it was a distracted. Something was on my watch.
I wasn't sure if you were doing some personal trimming over here or what.
It was. I don't know what that is on my watch. Sometimes when you bump your arm against the wall by mistake, it kind of scratches the crystal. I thought that's what it was, but it was just
that's
dirt.
Part of why I've stopped wearing,
your watch?
A watch. My wife got me a watch for either Father's Day or Christmas one year. It was a Timex, one of those indigo light deals. And I had probably 4 generations of that watch because eventually they get worn out. And part of it was because I would scratch it up against stuff and be working outside and scrape it on something, and suddenly this nice-looking watch had this scratch across the front of it, and I thought, I'm carrying a smartphone with me all the time. Why not just use my smartphone for my watch now?
Yeah. I wasn't insinuating that Dan's bit was going too long.
Well, think about this. Here's your smartwatch right here. Flava Flav. Time for this date in history. My cousin was there the night before.
Is that right?
Yes.
Baseball, 1974 on this date. Hank Aaron of the Atlanta Braves hits career home run number 715, breaking Babe Ruth's legendary record of 714. A crowd of 53,775 in Atlanta, the largest in the history of Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, was with Aaron that night to cheer when he hit a 4th-inning pitch off of the L.A. Dodgers. Do you remember his name?
Big Al Downing.
Al Downing. Now, a few days before, Aaron tied the record at
Cincinnati
Riverfront Stadium off of,
I can't remember.
Jack Billingham.
Okay. That was Marty Brenneman's second broadcast?
Well, he started in 70. I thought Marty started in 73.
I recall him telling the story of Hank Aaron, I think it was his second game.
Oh, wow.
Right out of the gate.
So Al Michaels was there through 73 then.
Yeah, okay. And so Marty says, imagine here you are, you're just starting with a new ball club and something historic happens, So, but my cousin Joey said he was at the game, so he would have been probably 12 years old, 62, 74, and he was leaning, and the ball hit the facade just in front of his hands, and he didn't get to, he couldn't reach the baseball.
Yeah.
So.
I was talking with a fellow at church who's a big baseball fan, and we were talking about the first home run hit at Riverfront Stadium. Well, that was also Hank Aaron 4 years earlier, 1970. But the first Cincinnati Red to hit a home run at Riverfront was
Tommy Helms?
Tommy Helms.
Hey, I got one.
He hit the foul pole like 2 feet above the fence, and they put an X as the first Red to hit a home.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it was Tony Perez or one of the Reds jokesters, said that Tommy hit so few home runs that they wanted to mark one of the only ones he ever hit.
And Doggy would say, take a look at those red seats up there. I'd put them in the red seats.
I put it up there, yeah.
Many, many times.
Yeah.
So he didn't sound like that, but in fact, it was difficult to understand him during the post-game interviews. His English wasn't all that fantastic, but he had such an accent that went with it. And to listen to Joe Nuxall, who had gone through 7 to 8 innings of beer during the broadcast, it was hilarious to listen to those interviews afterwards.
When Tony would get wound up after a big game in the start of the game show, he often said, I eat like I was at a picnic. Oh, golly. Those were the days. The Big Red Machine. What happened to that team?
Yeah. And I don't want people thinking we're poking fun at Tony and his speech, but back then, some of these guys, they, even though the camera was on them, it didn't seem to bother them.
Yeah.
We're using broken English. But now you take a look at they've got translators that come in and all that kind of stuff. But now I'm starting to see that Ayla de la Cruz is coming up, and he's starting to
learn English.
I cannot imagine what it would be like to go to another country, not know the language, and then face cameras and microphones.
Right.
And I recall hearing, the Cowboy, Jeff Brantley, talking about playing Winter League ball. And he was in a Caribbean country, and he always would go for his chicken and some ice cream to go with it, I guess. And so he pulls up to a drive-through, and they say in Spanish, can we take your order, please? And he goes, I would like to have 2, that's dos, chicken finger rolls and or whatever it was he was in, and so the response back from the board was, "Do you want fries with that?"
Yeah, I remember we had my cousin Jim had a foreign exchange student from Chile, Jorge Escobar Leon, who every once in a while comes up to visit. Great guy. One of the first times I was ever talking to Jorge, we were in the car. And it's like, you talk about how I project. Well, when you're talking to somebody that you think doesn't understand, it's for some reason you talk louder. And after I said a few things to him, he said, Mike, my English not very good, but I'm not deaf. So we got a big laugh out of that. So he was a good buddy.
The Pope's family lived across the field from us, and they always had international students stay with them. And the first person to ever break my heart was Maria.
Ooh. Maria.
She was a hottie. Now, keep in mind, I was 6 years old, but I had a big-time crush on that 17-year-old teenager. And later, I worked for the family, and she came back to visit after having been married and having kids, and I'm like, man, she still looks good.
So B.W. Stevenson's song "My Maria" was painful for you to have to listen to.
Yes, absolutely. But they had several exchange students, and one of them, our dog chased up a tree.
Oh, gee whiz.
he ran into, we had these two small maple trees in our front yard, and one of them had a split kind of branch system like this. He climbed about 7 feet up into that tree. The dog went up into the tree for him.
Wow.
The dog is like this high off the ground in the tree. I still remember seeing those claw marks on the side.
Wow.
I don't know if they were our dog's claw marks or if it was from, I think his name was Jesus. I think it might have been his claw marks. I don't know. But
That's not good.
He was not happy.
Welcome to America. Yeah, really.
Yeah. But a lot of fun with those kids.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I've known families who have a lot of exchange students, and just to sit and pick their brains is a lot of fun. Yeah. One of the girls who graduated from Western a couple of years ago was from Brazil, and it was interesting to sit down and speak with her. And you would think, "Are you speaking Brazilian to me?" That's not the case. They speak Portuguese in Brazil.
Yeah.
So.
We had a foreign exchange student, Tony Valente, who was the Adina football field goal kicker.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I said, what was the biggest surprise that you found being here in the United States? And I was amazed by his answer. He said, it's the trash that you throw away. The things that you throw away that we wouldn't.
Yeah.
So Tony went on to become an airline pilot.
Is that right?
For the Italian Airlines. I can't remember what the prominent airline there is. But
very nice.
Yeah. Interesting conversations.
See, you got people all over the world you can go visit someday.
Yes.
In those respects. All right, that's it for today's program. I think
you have an interview coming up here, right?
You awake over there? Okay, just checking. He wasn't making much noise, I thought, for a moment.
Thought he was asleep.
Either that or we were going to have to revive him somehow.
I was wondering if you guys forgot we have another interview.
Yeah, another interview.
We have one coming up soon. I'm going to talk about Chillicothe Civic Theater, The Great Gatsby. That's their program that's coming up this weekend and next. So we'll find out more details about the production and share that with you shortly on another edition of Litter Media Live.